Hey, 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 beautiful heart, what's vibin'? Let's get right into this reading. I know it's a bit late today, but hey, better late than never. All right, so we are starting out with silence, judgment, and healing. When these came out while I was meditating on this reading, what I really feel is there is some subconscious inner dialogue judgment going on about your journey, your healing. It'll be different for everybody, but for those of you that this is going to resonate with, you are on a healing, a healing journey. You're awakening. You are putting in the inner work to shift and change your circumstances. But with these coming out the way that they did, this is saying there is some of that duality energy subconsciously still playing out. And I feel like you're judging, one, where you're at on your path, two, how it's going, and also almost like beating yourself up, being less than gracious in your thoughts towards yourself about this. So what happens when we get into judgment, and judgment, at the root of it, we peel it all back, there's doubt and fear. This doubt, fear, judgment, and the human habits will absolutely put a pause on the healing journey. Why? Because it's a completely different vibration. And if you've been following me and taking my courses or private sessions with me, whatever, you've been, looking and doing this work, you hear me say it all the time, that as you start to really talk to yourselves, change your inner dialogue, things start to act up. The body will act up. Hell, the appliances will act up. Your pets will act up. I mean, all kinds of things act up. And it can feel like everything is against you, or, God's against you, or God's not hearing you, whatever term you want to use. But see, that's monkey mind. That's altered ego running its program. That is what has always stopped you. You get to that point, and then the anxiety, the depression, the fear, the hurt starts to well up, or it feels like it's too much. And then you end up to stop it, going back with either altered ego, old habits, old ways of dealing with things instead of pushing through. And it always happens in the 11th hour, right before you are going to have your breakthrough. It's a program. It always happens that way. And remember, monkey mind and altered ego don't want you to have healing. It doesn't want you to grow and awaken to all of its shenanigans and all of its flying monkeys. It loves keeping you stuck at the circus. I feel that there are some of you that are really doing this silently. Outwardly, you're saying, you're working on this or you're doing this, but inwardly, you've got that old program running. Why do we manifest more of what we don't want or more of the old program? Only because it has more momentum. It has years and years and years of momentum behind it. So you got to go easy on yourself with ease and grace right now, because learning to shift and changing your programming, that is going to feel weird for you because it's not your norm. But the more that you do it, the more consistent that you are with it, it does become your norm. You know, this isn't something you can just say once a day, once a week, and then expect a miracle to happen. No, you've been consistently bashing yourself and judging yourself for years. Doesn't mean that it's going to take years for you to change the program, but what it is going to take is consistency and momentum. You have to be on your thoughts continuously until you get that breakthrough. I know it gets tiring and exhausting, but that's where, you know, the different truth statements and I am statements come in, and you need to hit back and hit back and hit back. It all starts on the invisible plane first, the cellular plane first. You can't see that. And then it manifests in your experience. Just like for those of you that have spent years and years self-sabotaging, judgment, thoughts against yourself, the 5 human habits, judgment, guilt, condemnation, shame, blame. You've spent years doing that. So now you need to gain momentum to rewrite that program, telling yourself your new truths. You're not going to get it from the people around you. You're not going to get that validation or them coming in and saying, yes, you know, here, do this, do this. Why? Because if you're looking for validation from the same people that hurt you, it's a different vibration. They align with the hurt. They align with that old programming. So it's that old story and the old programming you need to move away from. And getting back to my point, as I kind of went down a rabbit hole, with speaking negatively against yourself, remember how I was saying it starts on the cellular first and then shows up in your experience? For those of you dealing with autoimmune issues, disease of any sort, if you break up disease, it's dis-ease. That didn't happen overnight. That all started with thoughts and feelings, that internal dialogue you've been saying. And it's eventually it has to act up in your life. Now that it's acting up in your life, you need to consciously make the choice to go in the different direction, do something different, tell yourself something different so you can stop that. You can absolutely stop it. You can stop and reverse all of the stuff that's going on. But you have to be committed to it. You can't half-ass this. And I know at times it feels like you're half-assing it because that's what altered ego or monkey mind is telling you. I want you to know that's the lie. And I teach you guys to celebrate the wins, no matter how small they are. Why? Because that's opposite of what you've always done. You've always really highlighted the lack, where you're lacking, what you've done wrong, da-da-da-da. That's what needs to stop, because that's what's led to this. For others of you, you need to be moving in silence, not sharing, not talking to other people about your healing journey and what you're doing. Because the judgment, there is judgment and envy from others that you're picking up on. And that's starting to get you thinking, well, oh, maybe this is too much, or maybe I'm too much, all of that. Move in silence right now. Okay. There is some communication coming in. It's moving in fast. Look at this. We've got the 8 of Wands right on the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands, he is that fast-ass messenger flying in. He's on a mission. He's got something to say. So, for those of you that have been waiting on whether it's a job call back, a call from somebody, you have been waiting on something. Communication has been stagnant, blocked, non-existent, whatever it is. It's coming in. And it's coming in fast. However, it is the Knight of Wands delivering it. So let's keep going and see. Seven of Cups and Temperance. Yeah. Okay. For those of you that were resonating at first with what I was talking about, this silent judgment about yourself or where you're at and you're beating yourself up, wanting to be farther along. You want to be at the top of the mountain, but you haven't even got to the first peak yet. That's all altered ego. You got to let that go. We all want to be at the top of the mountain, but guess what? We're not ready for the top of the mountain. You can't just go from where you're at to scale this Mount Everest and be at the top. You've got to train. This is where you're training. Energy is about to shift up. As soon as you start, I don't want to say as soon, but you start releasing yourself of this pressure, this anxiety of what's not happening, because it's that is keeping things at bay. There's the energy switching up. What you've been waiting on, you're getting communication. It's coming in. Yes, I know a lot of readers say the Seven of Cups is illusions and delusions and all of that, and it can be, but I'm not picking that up in this card. I feel like you've been at a standstill with certain things. It is about to start moving. This is where now is the time. You're in that void or that bridge where you need to have patience. Patience. You have angelic help. Archangel Gabriel is all around you. This is about bringing into balance your thoughts and your emotions, trying to move from that anxiety, that overwhelm, freak out, depression, anger, whatever it is. Those lower vibrations are all based in duality. But yeah, you've got good news coming in. This is literally about getting out of your own way in your thoughts. I am confident. Number 13. Take this up. Especially if you're not feeling confident right now. You got to start telling yourself the new story so it can become the reality for you. Number 13, you are a conscientious worker with a knack for coming up with creative ideas and turning them into something real. An optimistic but practical outlook keeps you determined and on track as you work steadily towards your goals. Some of you are holding yourselves to an unrealistic standard that you wouldn't hold anybody else up to. Why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you setting yourself up for that? Send yourself love. All right, let's get this. You are in a major transition and change. And you know, we all start somewhere and we all go up the mountain. There's different ways up the mountain. And as you're in training, because that's what you're doing, you're in training to scale this mountain. You're in training of all this newness. There are going to be bumps and bruises. You will be exhausted. It's in, you know, the denying that, or we get in this habit of push to make things happen, thinking that we're not doing enough when that's the exact issue. Some of you are doing too much that you're not hearing the messages, you're not allowing the energy to flow, and you're not in that being. You're too busy do. When you're in that do, it's a lot of the doubt that is pushing you for the do. Doubt is poison to your manifestations. Doubt is poison to your healing. It literally will keep you chained up like this. Fall in love with yourself first. If you are not loving yourself the way that you want somebody to love you, you are not going to get it from anybody else. You have to set the blueprint first. You absolutely are lovable. Where are you not accepting that within you? That is that root. That is that root that I'm talking about right now, about where you're not accepting yourself and loving yourself wholeheartedly. It's because of some silent judgment that you think, oh, if people knew this about me, or if they knew what I really thought, I wouldn't be accepted. You're not going to be accepted until you accept yourself. Everything starts with you. The love you want, you won't get that until you allow yourself to give it to you first. The feeling of the struggle creates the struggle. Guys, life will always show up. It will always want us to fall back into that idea of we have to struggle or it has to be hard. That is that limiting belief. It doesn't. You are in the process of learning that. This is a journey. It's not an overnight microwave thing. All right, beautiful heart, I'm going to leave that there. I am sending each of you oceans of love and support from my heart to yours. Namaste and Adonai. Bye-bye.